Donald, again, a man of very few skills, is credit where credit is due, a grifter par excellence. With him in the Oval Office, everything is for sale from anywhere at any time, including from the Oval Office, which I know it doesn't matter, is actually unconstitutional. Watch this from what happened yesterday.
See that? Trump was right about everything. It just came in. Somebody said, I said, well, this was sent in by a fan. I said, I think we should make some of them, right? But we were, pretty much. You want one?
I'll pass.
Are you allowed to take one? Because he'll consider it. I know him well. He's sort of a stiff. Yeah, Brian, you're not a stiff. He's sort of a stiff guy, you know? He'll take other things, but not a free hand.
Always say yes to the president. Always say yes to the
Would
president.
anybody like one?
Oh, what a grotesque little man. About whom am I speaking, you may ask? All of them. By the way, that hat was meant for me. I guess signals got crossed. So, Donald is now using his executive order signing ceremonies to sell themed merchandise, which raises funds to support his political agenda, hatched anybody, and a potential future run. Sales contribute to a growing $50 million war chest. Or is it the Logan Act? I'll double check on that. I think it's the hatchet. Anyway, the black MAGA caps, which were popularized by Elon Musk, who, for some bizarre reason, thinks he's edgy, have generated $1.6 million in sales since the 2024 election, nearly doubling red hat sales. I guess because people think they're so cool because Elon Musk wore one, which is a sad commentary on the human condition. A Gothic font version Musk wore at CPAC has brought in $400,000. Other items include Doge-themed shirts featuring Donald, Musk, and the Doge meme. And of course, the Gulf of America t-shirts because people are idiots. The National Republican Congressional Committee is selling its own Gulf of America shirt featuring an eagle with Donald-like hair, which is one of the most grotesquely ugly things I have ever seen in my life. Okay. This is, I was going to say this is funny. No, it's actually not. It's sickening. It's sickening. The depths of the depravity to which we have sunk. This man represents us. There is no thing he won't do, no matter how embarrassing, pathetic, degraded, or creepy, in order to make money, despite the fact that I'm pretty sure he's doing pretty well since Elon Musk has taken control over our treasury. Also, I'm curious, we never got a follow-up. Like, how many gold bars was he able to steal from Fort Knox? I mean, I know if it were just up to him, it would be very few because he's so pathetically weak. But, he's got Secret Service agents who probably could carry a couple. Donald's hawking is not just limited to merch. Nope. It gets so much worse. Yes, now he is looking into currency, citizenship status, and even Homelands. But before we go further, please take a second to like and share this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And after you've done so, click on the bell icon because that way you will be sure to be alerted every time new episodes drop. A South Carolina rep, Joe Wilson, who obviously needs a hobby, proposed legislation on February 26 to create a $250 bill featuring Donald's face, citing, quote unquote, Bidenflation as the reason for the move. Bidenflation is not a thing. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing would be responsible for designing the bill if the legislation passes, making Donald the only living former or living former or current president on United States currency. Yes, because that's usually reserved as an honor for presidents who have died. And it's also usually reserved for presidents who have accomplished something. I mean, accomplished something good. Just to make that distinction, because Donald's actually accomplishing quite a lot. Rep. Wilson claims that Americans need higher value bills due to inflation, which is stupid. Despite inflation dropping from 3% in 2025 from its peak of 9.1% in mid-2022. Again, not the brightest bulb in the box, Rep. Wilson. I have a strange feeling that he looks up with his eyes, with his mouth open when it's raining, but I have no actual evidence of this. A previous scheme falsely promised that unofficial Donald-themed currency would gain real monetary value, leading to the removal of misleading sales. Yeah, seriously, there's nothing they won't try. The bill has not yet been introduced to Congress, and no timeline has been set for its consideration. But what do we really think is going to happen? Seriously, I mean, it's just embarrassing. This country, if countries were capable of feelings other than sheer terror, the main thing this country should be feeling right now is just abject humiliation. Also, I know this isn't that important, but why $250? I figured it would have been like $100 million, a $100 million bill. Like, isn't that even a little insulting? Because there are bills with much higher currency. I mean, they're not in frequent circulation. This is true. Anyway, have you always wanted to be a gold member? I mean, if we're talking about American Express, I think the answer would probably be sure. But, that doesn't require 7 figures. If you have 7 figures lying around, you can lose your mind and do and invest in the thing I'm going to talk about now. Donald has announced a new gold card visa program. Nope, not the credit card. Actual visas that allow people to come into this country, which allows wealthy foreigners to buy U.S. permanent residency for $5 million, calling it a pathway for, quote, very high-level people, unquote, to enter the country. Play the clip.
Something else that's going to be very, very good. We're going to be selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship. And wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful. And never been done before or anything like this, but it's something that we're going to be putting out over the next, would you say 2 weeks, Howard? Do you want to say a couple of words about it?
Yeah, it's never been done before because it is so incredibly corrupt. Like, breathtakingly corrupt. I also love the way he equates wealth with worth. It's not how it works. Successful people who pay their taxes, what, like you? Sure. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick stated this new Trump gold card, wow, that's really embarrassing on a personal level, would replace the EB-5 program, which currently grants residency for investments as low as $800,000 in specific areas. I have to admit, I didn't know that was a thing, and I find that really awful. But, Lutnick criticized EB-5 as fraudulent, I guess, because they weren't charging enough and Donald needs more money. When asked if Russian oligarchs could apply, this is sort of the this is the gobsmacking thing that Donald had to say.
Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. It's possible. They're not quite as wealthy as they used to be. They're not as wealthy as they used to be. I think they can afford. I think they can afford $5 million. No, a lot of people are going to want to. A lot of people are going to want to be in this country.
I don't want to be, but obviously, you're not the person. I'm not who you're talking about. I get it, and I bet you know a lot of Russian oligarchs. I bet you've known a lot of Russian oligarchs for decades now. And that's why you're sitting behind that desk, which actually belongs to us. And it makes me sick. This move highlights Donald's preference for wealth-based immigration over merit or humanitarian pathways, because who cares about those things, reinforcing his transactional approach to policy, which is also known as something else. What's that word? Oh yeah, greed. All right, this is trigger warning. This is one of the most offensive things I've ever seen in my life. Again, I'm not shocked by it because we know that Donald is capable of anything. I've said this many, many times. There is no bottom, there is no worst. Can always sink lower and get worse. I mean, it's definitely the worst thing he's posted this year, but we've got 10 months to go. So there's plenty of time for him to outdo himself. He could do it tomorrow. He actually shared this as if it were a good thing on his account at his failing social media company. This is an AI generated video which features depictions of him and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, which I had like two peas in a pod, sunbathing. See, I told you, trigger warning, in Gaza with scenes of destruction wrought by Netanyahu, with a green light from the Americans, including the Biden administration, by the way, but that Donald Trump wholeheartedly endorses in a completely different way. So the scenes of destruction are transformed magically because of the beneficence of Donald Trump and Benjamin. Why do I have a problem saying his name? Benjamin Netanyahu, and the largesse of the United States of America. Of course, the luxury resort is called Trump Gaza, and it's complete with golden statues of Donald and exaggerated caricatures of wealth and opulence because he doesn't really have any experience with either of those things. It's grotesque, so consider yourselves warned. This video comes as people are still fighting for their homeland. Palestinians still fighting for their homeland. Donald, doesn't matter with him. Your home, your right, he will usurp it. It is for sale. Everything is for sale. This is what he thinks of the future of Gaza, a place where he can dance with women, not his wife, where the Palestinian people aren't there anymore. A place where Elon Musk can eat his hummus in peace without the bother of brown people surrounding him. A land where former Gaza citizens, to the extent they're allowed to be there, can trade their children's ancestry for gold balloons. A place where he and Netanyahu can have cocktails by the pool without being reminded of the presence whose people they have so maliciously displaced. Where religious structures are replaced with the gold statue of Donald fucking Trump in the city square. If you want to take his likeness home with you after your glorious vacation in a land that we are planning to colonize, you can purchase a quite hideous Trump figurine. I will not speculate about what that represents. Everything is for sale. our dignity, our decency, our democracy, our sense of who we are, all of it. Now, despite limited internet access, some Gaza residents expressed anger. Understandably, I'm angry. I can only imagine how angry they are. And 20-year-old Mohammed Abdulrahman rejected their portrayal, saying, quote, "We won't be lured by a few statues and money. Leave us alone and let us rebuild our homes by ourselves." That is what he said to NPR Gaza producer Anas Baba. I mean, I have a better idea. It won't work. It won't happen unless and until something very significant changes. America should step up and undo the damage it participated in creating, or not creating, causing. Faye Niemer, a former voter of Donald's and a MENA American Chamber of Commerce CEO, called the video, quote, "offensive and counterproductive to peace talks," in a statement to NPR, urging Donald to remove it and issue a reconciliatory statement to support peace talks. This will never happen. The video's portrayal of Palestinians in Middle Eastern culture, including men in drag and bikini-clad dancers, has drawn widespread backlash as offensive and inappropriate, because it is offensive and inappropriate. But again, he doesn't care. Is it going to make money? That is literally the only question that needs to be asked, and the answer will always be yes. Please take a second and like and share this video. Be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating, because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.